Here we're looking at a conservation of momentum question, where we have the first object with a mass of 5 kilograms moving at 6 meters per second, and it collides with a second object of 2 kilograms moving at 3 meters per second in the exact opposite direction. So we're going to look for the final velocity of the objects when they get stuck together. So we should just kind of do a little sketch of what this looks like before and after. So before, we have our first mass traveling, we're going to say to the right. The direction doesn't matter as long as they're opposite. And we're going to assume that right is positive, left is negative. At 6 meters per second, we have our second mass, m2, traveling in the opposite direction, so we'll say left, at 3 meters per second. What happens after? Well, we have our total mass, so m1 plus m2, and it's going to have some velocity we aren't quite sure of. We're going to call it v prime, and we don't know what its value is. So what we do know is that our initial momentum is going to be equal to our final momentum, or p prime. So what's made up of the first momentum? Well, m1 v1 plus m2 v2, and these are vector values because they do have a direction. The direction is just positive or negative direction. Our values at the end are going to be m1 v1 prime, so whatever the new velocity of the first thing is, plus m2 v2 prime. But we also know that m or v1 prime is going to be equal to v2 prime. They're going to share the same velocity because they're stuck together. So we can start to substitute and simplify a little bit of stuff, particularly on the right. So on the left, we're just going to substitute 5 kilograms, 6 meters per second, plus 2 kilograms, and then negative 3 meters per second, because it's going in a different direction. On the right, what we're going to do is we're going to put our masses together, m1 plus m2. So that's 5 kilograms plus 2 kilograms times whatever the velocity is at the end, which we're just going to call v prime. And that's ultimately what we're going to be solving for. So we can solve the left. It's going to be 24 kilogram meters per second. It's equal to 7 kilograms times whatever v prime is. And we can then simply say that v prime is going to be 3.4 meters per second. Since it's a positive value, v prime is 3.4 meters per second, and right was our positive direction. So we're going to say to the right.